Hello, if you want to be putting on any questions that you have already on your mind, get my color straightened up here. We can answer those towards the end. I'm excited that you caught a live too. I'm glad you're here. Just got a mortgage. Should I get a 401k loan and put it down as a lump sum to reduce the overall interest in my mortgage? That is a good question. That is a very good question. We're going to talk about mortgages. We're going to talk about savings. I've got a few things I want to talk about to answer some questions that I have been getting lately from you guys. Let me know who's here so I know who I'm dealing with, because I spoke with a lady today regarding a home loan that she's getting ready to close on, so I wanted to make sure that I answer all of her questions. Did everybody have a great Wednesday? I had a great Wednesday. Is it a better work on lowering credit card down? That is exactly what we're going to talk about. We are going to be talking about the savings. Should you be saving when you have debt? We are going to discuss that. Going to let a few more load on here so I don't have to repeat what I'm going to speak about. So let's see. While we are waiting, I have a couple of things I've been wanting to share when it comes to show me the money. I have a couple of things that I wanted to talk about with Fetch. I don't know if you guys use Fetch or not. I have a link below that you can sign up with Fetch. And it literally, you just take pictures of your... You all have so many questions about credit cards. If all you do with Fetch is you take a picture of your receipts, and they literally give you points, which ends up being cards. Like I use Amazon cards, and they'll give you, for every 10,000 points, they give you a $10 card that you can spend, and it's absolutely nothing but just scanning in your receipts. If you all are interested in that, you can, I have a link below. When you sign up through that link, then I get 2,000 points and you get 2,000 points, so we both win. And so I'll put that link below. It's Fetch, F-E-T-C-H, like fetch, dog fetch. So if you are interested in scanning receipts, you literally take pictures with your phone, and that's it. I do that every day. So I'm going to go ahead and begin. I'm going to start by talking about the savings, because I've already had questions about the savings, and I know that that is a big deal for people wanting to know if they should use their savings or should they just pay off debt and keep saving. So let's go over that. So here's your bank. I didn't draw a building this time. I just drew a circle. So here's your bank. And we're taught that our money is going to be put into the bank every day. Every time we're paid, the money goes in, and then our expenses come out. So we'll have credit cards, home loans, car payments, utilities, food, subscriptions, everything. So I have put together some totals that I've used in a previous video, but it's a good one. So we're going to act like that we have $4,400 in income. $5,000 is usually the standard for an American household, but I'm using $4,400 because it seems like that I get a lot of people that are running in the 4,000s for their household income, and I deal with people, most people I deal with have over $10,000 a month in income. But I know that it gets really tight when you're working on a budget at, say, $4,000 a month. So I like to keep my videos around the 4,000 mark so that, you know, the people that are really struggling paycheck to paycheck can see that you don't have to make $10,000 a month to be able to pay your bills. So this household income is at $4,400. Their expenses, all of these expenses total together, come to $4,300 a month, and they put $100 a month into savings because that's what we're taught to do. Now, if you have studied the savings and leaving money sitting in the banks, like that, you know, we were taught that, well, you got to save because, you know, maybe one day, someday, we'll save our way to where we'll be able to take that vacation that we're looking for, or we'll be able to, you know, retire. So we save, right? Well, this savings of $100 a month is not doing much for us when we have debt. So I want to go over that. I want to also, wait, hold on just a second. I want to see, because I'm getting a lot of questions, and I want to be able to see everything. Okay, here we go. I lied. Okay. Tyler, are you on here? If you are, tell me how I can look at my messages while after I get done, because I'm going to answer questions as they come through here. I'm getting a bunch. Jesus, I think you're right. It's important that we pay off our debt. Yes, it did make sense. Okay, so back to what I was saying. So if we have the $15,000 sitting in the bank, because they've done really good, they've been putting $100 a month in there. They are up to $15,000 in this example. And let's talk about what the $15,000 is drawing off of their bank. The banks, now I'm going to say, let's just pretend they pay for 4%. We all know that they don't pay 4%. If it's sitting in the checking, you're lucky if you're getting any percent. But when you say you have it in savings, which is like a 0.145% or something, but let's just pretend it's 4%. You're drawing on this $15,000. When you figure that your home loan per year is you're paying $11,639.48 in interest per year on your home loan. You're paying $520.97 per year on your car loan. This is a $22,000 loan at $600 a month at 2.5%. I've heard that is really high right now, but I'm just going with my example here. Credit card number one's at 21%, $14,000 with a $600 a month payment. The interest on that per year is $2,940. Then you have your credit card number two at $300 a month, 21%, a $9,000 balance, and it is $1,890 a year in interest. So when you add up the interest that you're paying $16,990.45 in interest on your debt. In 1 year, your savings got wiped out. I don't even care if you're drawing 4%. Why is this unreasonable to leave money sitting in the bank when you have debt? It's kind of like the bank is so tickled that you are leaving your money sitting in here, because they, if you don't believe me, go to BauerFinancial.com. They have done research to show that every bank in America is drawing 400 to 1,600% off of every dollar you leave sitting in the bank. That's why they want you to keep the money in the bank. They will pay you that 0.145% to leave it sitting there. You know, they give you the little pennies every year to leave it sitting in there. Meanwhile, you have taken a loan of $14,000 from them, and you're paying them 21% to let you use your own money that you already have right here. Does that make sense? You've got a $14,000 balance on a credit card. You're paying them 21% to use it, but yet you've got $15,000 sitting in the bank. Is that common sense? So in this example, we have zero cash flow, because by the time we pay all of our bills and then put that 100 into our savings, we don't have any money left. We're doing the Dave Ramsey, let's just, you know, use every dime of our money, put it somewhere, and we have zero cash flow. That would be good if you were paying off any debt, but you're not paying off debt. You're literally letting all of this build up. So these cards here are eating you up. Credit cards, I love, they are our friend, unless you leave them sitting with balances like this. Now, the way that you should be handling your credit cards is you should be using them as tools to pay off this other debt. I've gone over that in other videos. You are welcome to pull them up and look at them. They do explain how to use a credit card to pay off your cars, to pay off your home loan even. If you use, you may have to use Plastique. If that credit card is attached to your checking account, you can usually do transfers in and out of your checking account. There are ways to use credit cards to do that. The best way to pay off a home loan is through your HELOC, of course. Very quickly you can pay off a home loan. But when you leave your savings sitting like this and you've got all of this, you don't have a savings. You just wiped it out. $16,990 went to interest that year. So the savings is depleted. And let's don't forget that we're at 9.1% inflation right now. So everything's high. Food's high. Cars are high. Homes are high. Everything's high right now because the government has, they've done the increases on the rates, and that just brings everything up. So it will come back down. It's a cycle. But right now, everything is expensive. And so when you're leaving this money sitting here, when you have this $14,000 here, it's not a wise decision, because what happens if you were to take your $15,000 and let's pay off your $14,000 credit card, number one. You wipe this out, then that leaves you still have $1,000 in your savings, but guess what? What's 6 times 12? then if you take your $600 a month, and then you're going to add in, because we're going to show how that your cash flow automatically went to $600 a month just from paying this off. And then when you are done with this credit card, because you paid it off, your income, which is at $4,400, and in the example on my video, I showed where if you take all of your payments, say like your house, you cannot pay it through a credit card normally unless you use Plastique or it's attached to your credit or to your checking account. If you take your home loan, your car loan, and your credit card off, then you're not able to put that into the credit card, of course, because you have to have the cash payments. You can't use a credit card to make a mortgage payment, not, you know, they just won't let you swipe. So if you kept out your $1,600, your $300, and then you've got the $600 in the car loan, let's say that you just had $2,000 left over in your income, and you take and you put your $2,000 into this credit card. If you have a $9,000 balance, that brings that down immediately to $7,000. First off, you cut off $2,000 in interest, right? What else did it do? It knocked out your $300 a month payment. So now you have $900 a month cash flow that is working to pay off your credit card. Does that make sense? So if you, let me get my calculator pulled up here. So the $7,200 a month that the $600 is saving you, because you're no longer paying this payment, then now with the $300 you have $900 a month. So you're at $10,800 a month. I mean a year, I'm sorry, $10,800 a year. Is now going back into your savings if that's the way you wanted to use it. But you know what? It would be paying off this credit card, wouldn't it? Because the way we would take your income, throw it into here, you're bringing that balance down. But then as your money, your expenses come out, it's going to leave your cash flow in here, which is what? It's going to pay off this $9,000 in 10 months. Right? You have a little bit of interest in there, but it's not going to be enough to matter because you're wiping this thing out fast. You're putting in an extra $2,000 a month just to keep that balance low. So when the question I got about should you keep saving or should you get rid of your debt, my suggestion is to get rid of your debt and then go right back into your savings, what your cash flow is. I just make suggestions, you make decisions, but it just seems like common sense that we wouldn't let savings sit around for the bank to be using. They get to use it to make money. That's all they do. They don't let your money sit in the bank. When you put cash in there, they're not letting it sit. They're turning around and they are loaning it right back out, right? So it's crazy that we do that. Does anybody have any questions about that? Do you need another example? No questions? Or maybe I don't have the questions pulled up on this thing. Maybe. Ah, okay. Felicia, okay. Do I look like I'm playing with my phone? Because I am. I have to use my phone. The Mac computer that I got, the battery doesn't hold up long enough. If you all remember on the last live I did, the battery went out and it looked like I lost internet connection, and I even had it plugged in. So I am getting me a new laptop. You're at the beginning of your murder. Before you take a leap, you should focus on getting. If you use, hello, come back. If you use savings to pay off debt, what can you do when, if you need liquid capital or emergency fund? Okay, good question. That's a good question. So the question is if you use your savings to pay off your credit card, like in the example I showed here, what are you going to use when you have an emergency? Okay. So if you have paid off this credit card, let's say you have a medical emergency. Let's say you get a flat tire, or maybe you need a car repair. Whatever emergency you can think of, this right here would be your emergency fund, your credit card. Does that make sense? Because if I go to a mechanic, 90% of them take credit cards. I know if I go to the doctor, they take credit cards. So you could look at your credit cards as your savings account and your emergency fund until you get that worked up. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I'm so glad that makes sense. It does make sense. So if you can use your credit card as your emergency fund, as your savings account, just until you get to where you can add your money back up. It's a much smaller balance at that point. Absolutely. So if you have paid off, like I just said, you have $10,800 a year that will pay this off. You can put it back in savings. I'm just saying you can free up all of these payments you're making. $900 a month for these two alone. That's a lot of money going out. And you know, the babies need diapers. The car needs gas. And in the event you have something happen with your heat pump at home and you have to have a new one, guess what? Your emergency fund is right there. And until you get this debt paid down, using your credit cards is a beautiful source, because just like you paid off this one by just throwing your income in and bringing your expenses out, you're going to pay it off again because you've got the cash flow now to work with. A home loan, that's a whole different animal, and it takes time to work off a home loan, but that can be done, and that should be done. Your car, you could do the same thing with your car. So if you turned around and you made chunks of $10,000 on your car, you could have it paid off. If you're doing $9,000 chunks, you saw here, this would be paid off in approximately 10 months. So if this is a 6 or 7 year car loan, and that's gone in what, 20 months, with using less than 2 years, be right at 2 years, just using the chunks to put on your car payment, you would have another $600 a month cash flow. So the point is, cash is not king. I know Dave Ramsey. I love him. I think he's a great guy, and I studied him for years. But we don't live in a cash system. We live in a credit system. Cash is not king. Cash flow is king. So the more cash flow you have, the more you have to work with. And that even goes back to your savings, because if you get your bills paid off, then you can put that right back into your savings. Hi, Anna. Oh, I'm excited for you too. I think that you're going to do great. I love people that are encouraged. That's why I do this. I spoke with Anna. She's got her ducks in a row. She's ready to start this. I'm excited for her. I wanted to talk about the home loans because I'm not going to name names, but I spoke with a lady that has a $230,000 home loan that she's about to sign on. She's at 5.25%, I think. It was over 5%. Her monthly payment without the taxes and the insurance, without the escrow account, okay? Her monthly payment is $1,270.07 for 30 years. The total payments over her 30 years will be $457,224.67. Her total interest is going to be $227,224.67. So, what is this? She bought her house and she bought the bank a house. Right? Right. That $227,000 is nothing but thrown to the bank and it's gone. So when we look at our home loans, her getting $230,000 and she ends up paying that twice, right at twice. They are laughing all the way to the bank, right? Is that the saying? The banks are literally laughing all the way to the bank. That's why Velocity Banking will stop that. So over 5 years, let's talk about it's called the cycle of life. So it is known, I don't know if it's in the world or if it's American citizens, but it is known that every 5 to 7 years we're going to move. We're going to get in some kind of financial trouble where we have to refinance. Something is going to happen that we're going to sell our homes or we're going to refinance in 5 to 7 years. These are smart people that run the country, so they have all of this already figured out for us. So they make it to where that interest on a mortgage is front loaded. So you have paid most of the interest in the first 7 years. So guess what? They don't care if you sell your home. They don't care if you refinance it. They want you to. Because guess what? They've already got their interest. They want you to do it again. So they send out those letters. You know, every 4 years really it starts. But they'll send you letters, notices, hey, you can refinance that home. We'll give you $20,000 of your equity. Or we'll stretch that payment back out for 30 years and cut that payment a little bit. That's a setup. Because guess what? You're going to repay, like on this loan, in 5 years, she will pay $76,204. Look how much interest is in that. $58,147 in interest. So, I mean, it's just numbers. It's math. There's no way to act like that I'm crazy because it's just math. You can look up any mortgage calculator you would like to. They all are going to come out to these figures because of how I entered them. So if she's paid $18,056 in 5 years on the principal, they may tell her, hey, you know, we can give you $15,000, stretch that payment out a little bit, probably cut it back a little bit, and you know, you can just refinance. Act like it's no big deal. I mean, I have done so many mortgages in my life, and I was like, oh, how exciting. That's just $600 a month, you know, and you're like, Well, you big dummy. They don't care because they're stretching it out. They're getting the interest. You know, the payments at the beginning, this $1,270 that she'll be paying a month, probably, I think it was $1,000 a month is going to interest because they front load it just for this reason, because they know you're going to refinance that thing, so they're getting all of that money up front. And we let them do that. So if her payment is, yeah, $1,006 for the first, she's around $1,000 for the first year is going to be, every payment, $1,000 of that will be going into interest only. So does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions about that? Is the interest amount smaller on a 15-year, 30-year, or is it always front-loaded? It's always front-loaded. The difference between the 15-year and the 30-year is they cut the interest because common sense says that if you cut interest from 30 years to 15 years and you figure it on a shorter amount of time, they just increase your payments. Right? So with a 15-year mortgage, you're paying a larger payment every month. So yes, that automatically cuts that interest back of what it would be for a 30-year, but you're still front-loading on the interest. Let's see if I missed anybody. Oh my goodness. Madeline, I enjoyed it so much. I see you, I see you. Oh, it's 5.725. I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. Does it help your credit score if you do a balance transfer to a 0% on an existing card? The credit score has to do with credit utilization. So if you have a 0% credit card of $15,000 and you have a credit card that's at 21% of $15,000, if you transfer that to the 0%, no, it does not help your credit score. It is better, you should do it, because that gives you, you know, they can give you up to 18 months or 2 years to pay that credit card off, and that saves you all that interest. So yes, that's a good deal, you should take it. But as far as your credit score, no, that's not going to, I can't imagine that it would help, let me say it that way. Because it's based on, if you're using $15,000 of credit, then you're using $15,000 of credit. The way your credit score goes up is if you pay that $15,000 down to where you only owe 30% or less. Really, they want to sit around 10%. And, you know, I always thought that the credit card, the purpose of the credit card was to fill it up to the limit and then make payments. I mean, have we all felt that way? It's like, well, that's credit, and you know, we need to use it till we're up on the limit, and then we'll just make those payments. That just seemed like that was just the way it was, and it is the way it was, or the way it is. People think that I have this line of credit, I just need to make the payments every month. And that is such wrong thinking, and we were taught to think that way. It's not our fault. But that is so demonistic that we would be taught to make monthly payments on something that we can wipe out with the income that we're currently getting. We can wipe that out so quickly, so fast. We're not giving that side of it. We're giving, well, make sure you make your payments on time, because that will kill your credit score, and it will. So I'm not saying don't make your payments. I'm saying use your income to pay them off. Thank you for your videos. I can't wait to start this when I get paid. I'm so happy for you, BB. Oh my gosh. I love to hear people say that, because that encourages me. And I'm just going to say this out loud. I hate doing lives because they are I feel like that with my videos, I can think about, you know, how exactly I want to lay it out so that it's simple, relaxed, easy for you to understand. I hope my videos are simple and easy for you to understand, because I know that it can be difficult. When you hear some people speak on velocity banking, they get really detailed. I even turn them off sometimes because I'm like, you know, just at that moment my brain's not thinking where they are or whatever. So the point of me to draw these silly pictures, to draw the buildings, you know, showing the bank, I want to make it so simple that you guys are like, wow, that makes so much sense. And I'm going to do that because it's so easy to do. Velocity banking is not hard. It's just hard for our mindsets that we were raised to think we have to make payments. Because we were raised in a system that taught us that you had to get a mortgage and you have to get credit cards. And, well, actually, they really taught us to stay away from credit cards, didn't they? And credit cards are the best things that they offer us to use. When a credit card is used correctly, wow, I mean, you can become a wealthy person if you know how to use your credit cards. But we're just not taught that. We're taught to go to work and make those payments. Go to work and make those payments. And it's unfair, but there is a better way, and that's what Velocity teaches us. And I haven't got into the depth of Velocity that I want to get with you all, because I want everybody to grab this concept first, but it goes so much deeper. You guys, you know, when we get into working on being your own bank, that's the most wonderful system in the world. And guess what? All of the banks use it. All of our politicians use it. But who wasn't taught to use it? We weren't. The little guys. We were taught to fund their system, right? To work, put our money in there, pay our taxes. All of it goes back to the government. All of it goes back to the banks. And it is so unfair how that we have been taught to do their system instead of the system that they actually use, which is what I'm teaching you. See, what'd you say? You are amazing. No, I'm not. This live is so great, and so are all your videos. This is super helpful. I am so glad. That's exactly what I want you all to understand completely what I'm talking about. I've got links below. If you don't understand something, contact me. I will call you. Give me a day and a time on your contact form. I will call you. If you want to schedule calls, if you want your own whiteboard done, I have links for that. I have packages that you can buy to have multiple calls. I want to help you all to figure this out, to get out of that paycheck to paycheck living. Lord have mercy. There is nothing worse than the stress of debt. And I want everybody to get out of that. I wanted to also show you all, because I had somebody ask me about the Dave Ramsey cash binders and stuff like that you can do. And I was going to show an example, because we don't teach this. But somebody was talking to me about budgeting and how to do budgeting, because I don't agree with budgeting the way it's taught, that we are to be so tight with our money that we can't enjoy our families, we can't have a good time, we can't buy an outfit here and there. I have told every one of you, I use my credit cards. I do pay them off at the due date. Guess what? I forget to pay them off sometimes. But that's just life, things happens. But when you are using the credit cards to run all of your expenses through, then you're throwing your income into that credit card. you don't have any problems. It's very easy to make sure that you're budgeting enough, because you can see what's happening every month when you are using your credit cards. Some credit cards are so fantastic that you can literally list what the expense is for. Is it a food item, groceries, eating out, clothes, subscriptions, utilities? You can name them in your credit card. You know your budget in there. We all know when we're overspending. But the budget binders, which is this, I think you can see them. This was what I used with Dave Ramsey, because this one here is for like health and dental. So if you can see, that's dental, and I would divide out, like, if I made $100 a week, $5 would go into dental, health, deductibles. I would divide out my taxes. Lord have mercy, I have been traumatized with taxes, so I know all about, if you're in tax debt, been there, done that. Investments, emergency funds. See, I had this too, and I know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. I know what it's like to struggle with debt. I have been there, done that. I had a couple of videos released this week, if y'all saw them. It talked about divorce and debt, because I have been through divorce, and I know what that leaves you holding, the bag, right? Especially if you want out. I wanted out so bad that it was like, I'll take everything, you just go. And thank God it worked. I've never been happier in my life. I love my new husband. I have a great life with a husband that loves me and is not a narcissist. Is not controlling. And to get out of that 17 years was a blessing from the Lord. And I don't care if you agree with that or not. I fought for that, and once it's over, it is peace, and the Lord has called us to peace. And yes, we need to try to work those marriages out. But when you're dealing with someone that's unstable or doesn't care at all about you, then I am an advocate for marriage, but I'm an advocate for peace. So I found peace. I took the debt, and then I had to work my way out of it. And like I said, I'm not trying to offend anybody. Jesus said divorce is wrong, that it's due to the hardening of our hearts, but he also gave us a way out. So if you're in a narcissistic relationship like I was, an unstable relationship, an abusive relationship, then step off of that roller coaster. Jump off of there and get happy, because I hate to see women, because I'm a woman, but men alike, they're in miserable marriages, and it's like, you don't have to be there. You need to be at peace. And I am all about peace, and I'm all about love. And like I said, I found my husband who treats me well, who agrees with me with money matters, which is beautiful, and they are out there. So, I want people to be at peace, and financially, yes, and your whole life should revolve around peace. But where was I going with that? I was trying to explain why I got into Dave Ramsey first, why I got into the budgeting like I was doing, and the cash binders. That's just part of it. So you would just divide out all of your expenses. This is Verizon, electric, trash and water, subscriptions. My husband, that we were doing stuff. My tithe. If you don't tithe, you need to tithe, because there's blessings that come with that. We are told what tithing will do for us financially, and it's important that we obey, because without, my husband always says, he's a canine handler, and he always says, obedience brings victory. And isn't that the truth? And that comes to our eternal salvation when you are immersed and the old man is washed away and the new man rises up, and that's just obedience, right? So it's just the same thing. Jesus talks about money, I believe, more than he did anything else. And it is like, he taught us the way the kingdom works. And if you are an immersed believer in the kingdom, then you have so many promises financially that he's going to take care of you. But he does call us to be givers. 2 Corinthians 9 is beautiful when it talks about giving and how the giving, he gives seed to the sower, and the more seed we sow, the more seed we get back to sow. And so we're to be like a distribution center. When we're given, we're to give. That comes back, we do it again. So that's a beautiful system that was set up for us to use. It's so important that we do obey. Let me see what I had here. Hello, everyone. Hi, L'Oreal. I didn't even know you were on here tonight. Yes, Brandon, it is a new way to budget. Keep doing your live shows. Enjoy all you do. Thank you, Eddie. Everybody is so kind. You all just bring me joy. If I don't even know who subscribes as far as who's writing me, but I do know that I get the most precious emails. Hi, Miss Vann. Hi. I get the most precious emails every day. My sister works at the office where I have been helping. And I was showing her, I show her, the emails and how sweet everybody is and how grateful they are that these teachings are going out. And I want you all to understand that there is a better way. There's a better system. It's the one the wealthy use. The wealthy do not get loans, right? I mean, no, they're not getting loans. They're using lines of credit. They're never using their own money. They're leveraging the bank's money. When we get into the deeper teachings of being your own bank, when I start that, I kind of put out a video and I started getting a bunch of questions that I am still working to set up links for you guys to go through, stuff like that. I'm not ready for that. I want to teach that because that is so much fun, and it is such a change in the way that we have always done our banking that I'm excited to teach that, and that's coming very, very soon. I'm hoping to start that the first week of March. And that'll just lead into more fun for you guys to dig into and to see other ways that you can save money and do your own banking and just flourish financially. That you too can become wealthy and be givers, freely giving, because you have plenty of cash flow to give. So that is where I'm going. I hope you all will stay with me, keep moving. I'm so tickled at how fast the channel's growing. I was kind of really shocked about that. But I am glad because the word's getting out there, and that's so important. I wanted to, one more thing. Alex Albaran, I want to mention him. He is my, he helps me with a lot of stuff. So he helps me with my websites being set up. He helps me with things to do with YouTube. He helps me with my emails. So if you all are getting emails and stuff, he is the one that's helping me take care of that stuff. He is kind of my IT guy, is what I call him, marketing, whatever. But I have a link below for him. He sets up the Amazon and the Spotify stores and stuff. I don't have that yet. I am very much wanting to move into that area, but I'm just so busy with what's going on right now that I want to teach this, and I don't want to overwhelm myself. I don't want to get lost. I'm not in here to make money. I'm in here to help as many people as I can possibly help, to learn this system and to get on your feet, get out of the paycheck to paycheck, stop wasting all of your money, literally throwing it to the banks. And so, oh, okay, L'Oreal, she says to hit the like button to get the word out. So Alex, though, has been a huge help to me. He is Johnny on the spot. If I have a question, I can send him an email or text, and he gets back to me within no time. I've had so many of you guys asking me about him because I think he came out in an email talking about his services. So I recommend Alex just because he has been a big help to me. That is totally your prerogative if you want to use him or not. If you are looking to do something bigger, you know, with your finances, he can really help to make the income happen. And that is just an option I wanted to throw out there for anybody that's looking to make extra money. Let me verify. I have not done a store yet. I would like to do one. I have ideas for one. I just don't have time yet. But if you all want to check more into him, he has a link below. Remember the fetch that I mentioned at the first of the video? The fetch link is below. That is what I use for extra. It's just really cards that they give you, like $10 cards. And so like to Amazon, or you can pick where you want the cards to come from. But all you do is you literally take a picture of your receipt. And when you take a picture, you load it, and that's all you do. And then when you get 10,000 points, they send you a $10 card. So it's so easy to use it and to make extra money on the side just running your receipts through. If you use the link below, you get 2,000 points, I think it is. I get 2,000 points, so it helps us both out. But it is really, it's been a lot of fun. I know I have just put it out there because, you know, we want to save money anywhere we can. And if you can take a picture of a receipt and make some money, why not, right? Let me see. I just got a couple of questions. With my $230K mortgage, should I try to apply for a higher limit card that will cover that mortgage amount before it hits my credit? I don't think you can. Madeline, you can try that. I'm not sure. First of all, I think you're talking about a HELOC. And if you're talking about a HELOC, which is a home equity line of credit, they use your equity in your home to give you that money. You have to have 80%, 80-90% value, loan to value, before they'll consider the HELOC, especially the first lien. You have to have a 700 credit score. So if you are talking about a home equity line of credit, I don't think you have equity in your home yet due to you're just starting that mortgage. If I'm wrong, you know, correct me, but I don't think they offer lines of credit that high for sure. If they do, I'm not aware of them. So you would just have to ask around to your bank and maybe find a credit union in the area. Maybe they would do a higher line of credit. But your mortgage, with what I know about your income, you seem like you're right in paying that thing off in 5 to 6 years, 7 max. No, they don't do a regular credit card for a high limit like that I'm aware of, okay? And just like that, everything we've ever known is a lie. Time to restrain the brain. Retrain the brain. It is. It is. It's a mindset that we were taught with when you were in school. You got your first job. What was the first thing they told you to do? You got to go get a checking account because they're going to, they're going to do your direct deposit into the checking account. That's what this is. The bank. Everything is to come out of that bank. Well, what if you wiped out what we know as the traditional way to use a bank? And what if it was now our credit card? What if we turned our credit card or our line of credit into our bank? Do you know what that does? When you have a $10,000 balance on your credit card, let's say this is a line of credit, because a credit card will take a Plastique, which is a third party that will write checks off of your credit card. It works. I've done it. It's 2.5% charge though every time they do it, which means nothing. If you have a mortgage, you're saving so much money that you won't even feel the 2.5%. And I have credit cards that offer me 2 to 10% cash rewards. So that 2.5% is no big deal, okay? Everybody gets tied up with, well, that's 2.5%. Well, you're saving so much money with these amortized loans. You're saving so much money with the rewards on these cards that you're getting back that you're not even feeling the 2.5%. So don't let that 2.5% charge scare you off. Look into Plastique. Let me get a marker that will write darker. Plastique is PLASTIQ.com. You just sign up under them. You put in you have to have a MasterCard or Discover. They don't do Visa. Go there, set up your account, tell them what bills to pay. If you want $10,000 sent to a home loan, they'll fill it out. They'll send it. Sometimes your mortgage company will not accept their payments, but guess what? Where there's a will, there's a way. There's always a way around that, so don't worry about that either. But Plastique can help you use your credit cards to pay off your debt. Now, if you have a line of credit, for example, at my credit union, I have a line of credit, $15,000. It's attached to my account. I found that out by accident. I went into the credit card one day, did a transfer into my checking account, and it worked. And I was like, wow, I didn't know you could take cash, no transfer fees, nothing. So I took the cash out of the card and I paid off something. I don't remember what I was doing at that time. But then, guess what? My money goes into the bank. All I did was transfer it right back into this. And it was paid off. I mean, it just literally, you completely knock interest off. You pay off debts when you use your credit cards for stuff like that. It's so simple. And our mind tells us, that's so hard, I can never do that. That's not true. We're just taught a different system. We're taught under the world system of finance to make the rich richer. And when you understand that now you have the wisdom to make yourself wealthy and to pull that control out of the bank, they no longer have the control anymore. When you realize that you have that power, especially with infinite banking, wow, it will change your life. It's so important that you guys dig into this and be serious about changing that mindset. So with the $10,000 on the credit card, if this $4,400 goes directly into the credit card, well, what are you at? Is that right? I'm not a mathematician, you all know this. $5,600 is your balance. And this was your income. Then you're going to have your expenses will come right back out, which they were $4,300, but remember, we paid off that one credit card with the savings. Then we knocked this one out just by making the deposit, so that gave us a $900 cash flow a month. So you would take that off of the $4,400 because you don't have, I mean the $4,300, you don't have that much coming out anymore, right? It makes all the difference in the world. I'm telling you, once you pick up on the system and you realize that this is your way out of your debt and you get started on it tomorrow, once you get in the swing of things, it's so easy and your debt disappears so fast. And I want everybody to experience that feeling. Because once this is coming down, your expenses will come right back out. So if it's $3,400 now in expenses, that would come back out. So you're at $9,000, right? Is that right? I'm probably figuring something wrong. I think we're more like a 33 because this right here, we had the 100 going into there as well. So your expenses are really 33. So now you're at, oh my goodness, I'm getting all mixed up. So if you're putting no, I'm sorry, it'd be 35 because you're adding that back in. So you're back up to, I'm getting sidetracked here. So we're at 9,100 instead of, yeah, because you got your 900 that's staying in as cash flow now. So then you would just do it again. Your 4,400 would go in again for the month, and then you just keep wiping that out every month. And like I said in the last example, is when you're putting the 900 cash flow and you're leaving it in there, you're talking what, 9.5 months to pay off this debt right here. So it goes really fast. And if you all really, really work on it and watch how that works, it'll set you on fire. It'll get you motivated and you can get your stuff paid off really, really fast. And I'll be glad to help any way I can. Like I said, I have the links below. If you guys want to contact me, you know how to do it. Velocity Banking helps me manipulate what bank makes money from me because I choose for them to make money off of me. My local credit union is the only one making money from me because they service my community. That's right. I have a $95,000 Bank of America credit card, 0% APR for 22 months. My mortgage is $360,000. I make $240 a year. Wow, good for you. Cheeseburger with grilled onions. So you make $240,000 a year, and you have a $360,000 home. Yeah, you're in good shape. We need to talk. I can show you how to do that really fast. So send me an email. You know, go below to the link, fill out the contact form. I would be glad to talk to you, Cheeseburger. Sound like you're in good shape. Right. She needs a Diet Coke with that cheeseburger. Yes, you're welcome. Get in touch with me. I want to help you because you are going to be an easy case. So I'm excited to work with you. Does anybody else have any questions? I could cut off of here and run away. Anybody have any other questions about the cash binders or anything? I have told you all I don't like budgeting. Your credit card should do your budgeting for you. You do need to know when you first start on Velocity Banking, it's important that you know what your cash flow is, because then, you know, when you send me your numbers, then I know I can give you an idea of how soon you're going to be out of. Yes, there's a link below. There's a link to contact me, to set up telephone calls, to set up whiteboard experiences. It's through my website even, if you wanted to just go straight to the website. It's vannfs.com. And it's under services. So I have my services listed under that. You are more than welcome to contact me about whatever your questions are. Hi, Gracie. I see you on here. What if you are bad with credit cards? You do have to have, I don't want to say some sense with them. You do have to be an adult. Can I just say that? We need to be adults. We have been in debt. We know what it feels like. We're sick of debt. And let's just act like adults. Spend money how we know we need to spend our money. If you have problems with credit cards, you're probably ought to do what Dave Ramsey says and cut it up and go grab you some cash binders. Get your money put in there, because we're talking about a way to work with money that the wealthy do, and it also makes us wealthy. But frivolous spending, like just because you want a four-wheeler and you're in debt, no, you take care of getting rid of your debt and getting rid of all of that interest you're throwing out, and then let your cash flow buy your four-wheeler. I'm all about stuff. I love stuff. But I'm also about, let's be a mature adult and use those credit cards for what they're supposed to be used for, which is the acquisition of property, to find better ways to make more money, to invest into ourselves so that we can make more money in the future, and emergency fund. That's all a credit card should be used for. Don't be doing frivolous stuff, especially while we're going through this process of getting rid of your debt. That's just not wise at all. Do I have... Oh, thank you for watching my videos. Oh my gosh, and if you all did like and subscribe, I would appreciate that. Everybody is so sweet on here. Love this. Excited to get going on this. I'm so excited for you to get going on this. I have a lady, I don't know if she's on here tonight, but she's waiting for me, and I'm kind of waiting for her. So if you know who I'm talking to, let me know when you find out your credit card information that I need, because I am going to help you. It's just I'm waiting on more information. If any of you guys that are on here need advice, I'm not an advisor, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a tax attorney, but I can make suggestions that can help you, and I would be glad to do it. So you let me know whatever questions that you have, and I will answer them to the best of my ability, and we will get you the help that you need. Like I said, if you're into extra income, Alex is below. He's definitely been a helper to me, definitely. I have a friend though, a really good friend who does the same work that Alex does, and I was telling him today that he needs to get into the business of IT because he is so smart on the computers, and he needs to get paid for that. So there's always extra income out there. You need to find what you're good at and do it. You know, the 80% of success is showing up. So you got to get up and show up every day so you can find your opportunities to move forward. And don't be down and depressed about your debt. It is what it is. You can't move forward looking back. So you've just got to get on it and get your debt paid off. Be happy to be alive. Enjoy your families. Stop stressing. Debt is just debt. It works out on its own when you're doing velocity banking. You're going to set all of your expenses up on a credit card. You get them all set up, and then you just make income deposits and forget about it to let it pay off on its own. Okay, guys, we've been going for 72 minutes and 15 seconds. So if you all don't have any more questions, I will look at signing out of here. Everybody is so sweet in these, though. Cheeseburger, I can't wait to hear from you. Jesus, you really got it going on. I can tell you should be teaching velocity banking. Yes, Gracie, there's so much to learn. No, Fields, they do not take Visa. Not at Plastique, if that's what you're talking about. Wait, I'm new to Plastique. So you can use that to pay your mortgage payment and then pay off with the cash for the... Absolutely. I do that every month. Absolutely. So the $10,000, if your rewards are, say, I think the usual is 1.5% to 3%. Now I have one that does... Oh my gosh. I have one that pays up to 10%. And that's nice. But yes, that when you get those rewards back, that knocks off your Plastique most of the time, depending on, you know, most of it. Let me say it that way. So, thank you, Jesus. I very much appreciate you. I appreciate you showing up every time I have a live. Can you do velocity banking using several small limit credit cards? My highest is $2,300. I am not a fan of using multiple lines of credit because I worked on one at a time. Send a super sticker for your heart. I saw that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. What was the question? Uh-oh, sorry, I'm a one-track mind. He got me off. Okay. I would stick to one line of credit at a time, okay? Because if you are taking your income, throwing it into the line of credit, it's paying it down and will eventually pay it off. You can move to the next line of credit. If you're talking about for Plastique, it may be a great benefit to you to do that if you are paying something with a high interest rate. Like, for example, Care Credit. Wow, are they expensive. So if you were to take a credit card through Plastique, pay them off, because I have heard they go from like 28 to 38% interest. Yes, I would say pay off something like that with Plastique using multiple lines of credit just to get that off, because you know, if you're paying a 19% credit card and you're paying off a 38% loan or anything like that, you're making your buck back. Cash out, refi, or HELOC. No. Please don't do a cash out refi. No. HELOC. HELOC. Okay. Let me explain that. That's worth hanging around a minute for. So a refi is this again. When you refinance to take cash out, they are suckering you into paying the $58,000 again for 5 years. That's all a refinance does. Don't do that. A HELOC, sorry, so if you get $20,000 in a HELOC, say that's the equity in your home. So you get $20,000. Now, let me make it this simple. A HELOC is a simple interest, okay? So the HELOC usually, like right now, if you do a first lien HELOC, you can get them locked in at 6.25% for 3 years or 6.375 for 5 years. What that means is you would take your $20,000. Let me just do it. So if you have 20,000 times 6.25%, let's say, that is $1,250 a year. That's a year. That's a year. So the reason the HELOC is the way to go is, one, your interest is baby cents to the mortgage. This 5%, you would take 5 times 2 equals 10 and add a 0. She's paying 100% interest. That's why that she is going to buy her home plus the bank a home, okay? That's the way you figure mortgage interest. Very, very slimy, dirty way to steal our money, okay? The HELOC is at $1,250 a year, but when you make this mortgage payment of $1,270, guess what? It goes into that loan and you never see it again, right? You can't go to the mortgage company and say, hey, yeah, like I put in $1,200 and I'm going to need 200 of that back. Can you, like, you know, give me a check? They're going to laugh because this is a closed-end loan. Once the money's in, it's gone. You don't get it back. But if you have a HELOC or a line of credit and you put that, say you put in $1,000, your balance is now $19,000. And if you said, hey, I need $500, guess what you do? You go get $500 and you use it again. This is what we talk about when we talk about using your dollar twice. This is using it once. You're throwing it into this pit and it's gone forever. You throw it into this HELOC, you can turn right around and use that again. You're never broke. You're not paycheck to paycheck anymore. You've got your money. You have access to money. What even makes this better is that $1,200 that I was showing you for the yearly interest. What if you make $5,000 a month? You have a $20,000 line of credit and your income is $5,000. And you take and you put that $5,000 into this. That brings you in one day down to $15,000. Yes, you will pay your expenses back out slowly throughout the month, because remember, lines of credit are based on, the interest is based on an average daily balance. It's not just cut and dry. This is 15,000, say, one day, and then your restaurant eating out comes out the next day, then you're at 15,100. And then let's say you pay your car payment the next day, you're at 15,700. So the bank figures your interest on the average daily balance. So your low is 15,000, your high is 20,000. So if you're at a 6.25% interest on this, you would take, so if you're low, and let's just do it. If it's 15,000 for your low, you would add that to 20,000. Get your total. 35,000 divided by 2 is 17,500 times 6.25% equals 1,093.75 in 1 year. Did you see how that went down from 1,200 to 1,093.75 a year? Okay. So when you divide that by 365, that means you're paying $2.99, well, let's say $3 a day in interest times 30, so you're paying $89.90 a day. A month, a month in interest. What were you paying over here? Wait, what were you paying over here in interest for 1 month? $1,000? You're paying $1,000. Okay. Do you see the difference? Because if you got this 20,000 out of a refi, yeah, you're going to be refinancing all of this. It jumps your payment back up. It's over 30 years. You're repaying all of your interest. Whereas here, you're putting your income in, your expenses out. You're saving tons of money. Plus, you're able to use your money again. You know, if you have a flat tire, you can go to your HELOC, pick it up, and bring it out, and pay for it, and go about your day. I mean, it's not hard. They want us to think it's hard, but it's not hard. I've got some questions. Let me see here. Does the HELOC increase your remaining existence? No, it does not. Just like I showed you. This HELOC, let's say it has a $600 a month payment. I think that's what you're saying. So if the payment on the 20,000, when you get the HELOC, they say your payment's going to be $600 a month. You're like, oh my gosh, another payment? I'm already paying $1,270. Do I have to pay another $600 too? No, you don't. Because when your income goes in, it's satisfied that payment. You don't have to, you don't even know. You don't even figure that into your debt. You don't figure that into your monthly payments. It goes in, income in, wipes out this. All you're doing is you're applying to your principal, and then you get this little baby charge right here. It's a little baby charge. This is a bad mama. This is a little baby charge. Okay, does that make sense? Sorry guys, I had to use my phone. I told you my Mac it shut down on me. Let's see. My mom be like, what are you watching in your Funny, Gracie, funny. You need to be learning this. I'm gonna have a meeting for all the young kids. It depends on if it's a first or second position HELOC. Let's go back to that question. No, it doesn't matter if it's a first or second position HELOC, Jesus, because what did you say here? $1,000 interest for 1 month is $33.33. Yeah. Okay, so the first position or the second position HELOC doesn't matter because they all work just like this one right here that I just showed you the example. So it doesn't matter if it's a first position or a second position. The difference with the first position and the second position HELOC is only this. You no longer have a mortgage and you no longer have that payment. Same thing. Money in, expenses out. If this is a first position, which is a first lien HELOC, and you had it for $230,000, if they give you a payment and they say, okay, your payment is $1,270 up here, the only thing you're doing here is you're paying interest. So 6.25% for 3 years. You're paying the interest. You don't pay a payment. They take the interest out of your equity. All you're doing again is if you've got $5,000 a month, you're putting it into this. Income in, expenses out. So then you're at, sorry, this is 4,000. Then you're at 229K. Then you do it again. Income in, and then expenses out. It's just a continual process that the income in, the expenses out. Now, about this, the 5,000 where we had the 4,000 expenses coming out, that included this $1,270. So you wouldn't be having no such expenses as that coming out anymore. Let's say that your expenses were 2,000. So now you're going to be at 227,000 when these expenses come back out through the month. Then they'll add in your interest, whatever that is, we would figure that in. Then you would come back in and you'd do that 5,000 again, income. So that's the difference between making a payment into a mortgage and making a payment into a line of credit. We can turn right back around and use this again. This is close-ended. Your money's in, it's gone. There is no pulling that back out. Let's see. Yes, thank you. I have to get a HELOC. That is so much savings. Sorry, last one, HELOC approval. A hard credit pulled or based solely on equity. Sorry. Yes, the HELOC will probably be a hard credit inquiry. I think that's what you're talking about. Yes. So I have contacts for the first lien if you want to look into getting the first lien. Like I said, the first lien engulfs your whole mortgage. The second position HELOC just gives you any equity that you would have in the home. They do 80% usually on the second position. If you have a 700 credit score, they will do a 90% loan to value with your equity in your home. So there are, of course there's stipulations to every loan process, but with those lines of credit, you want to make sure that you have equity in your home. They will qualify you. If you want to contact me regarding that, they will qualify you and let you know you know, if they can do a line of credit with you or not. But it is worth a shot. They won't do a credit pull at that initial conversation. You can get the information that you need if you really want to look into that or not. So contact me again. I'll be glad to get in touch with you about that. If you want my email address, let me write it down. It's support@vannfs.com. So if you need to contact me regarding, you know, setting you up with someone to do a first lien, just contact me and let me know that you're interested in that. I will do an email introduction. You can meet them that way. Do you have any info on the Avon card? No, I do not. I don't know anything about that. Your HELOC is your mortgage. Usually needs 50% equity. Second, what are you saying? Second, your mortgage and HELOC are separate. Yes, the second position, they're separate. The first position, yeah, I mean, if you are going to do a first lien HELOC or first position, yes, it would be, they will loan up to 90%. Yes, they will loan up to 90%, depending on your credit score. I'm sure your debt to income ratio has something to do with that. If they loan up to 90%, then if your mortgage is, another thing that's beautiful about the first lien or first position HELOC is if your mortgage, which her payoff is $230,000, if your home comes back and let's say it appraised for $350,000, so you would take that times 90%. So that means $315,000 would be your line of credit, or HELOC, however you want to say it. So $315,000 would be your limit. They would only pay out your mortgage. So all of this, straighten this back up. And then the $230,000, $85,000 is left sitting there for you to use it as you deem necessary. You can't beat that, because you may have a car loan that you want to wipe out with this as well and bring in $600 more cash flow to pay that car loan off as you pay your mortgage off. Using the HELOC, using a line of credit. I don't care if you have a line of credit that is $10,000. You can pay off your home loan with a line of credit in 5 to 7 years. It all is based on what your income is, how you're doing the chunks into that mortgage. I mean, we can sit and make excuses all day long as to why we'll just keep our mortgage and keep paying on it. But especially if you're within the first year, 2 years of a mortgage, you could turn around and pay that thing off in absolutely no time. 5 to 7 years compared to 30 years is no time. Plus, you'd have all of your equity in your home. You haven't lost a thing. People are afraid to use their HELOCs. They're afraid to use their equity. And I get it. If you're getting an equity loan, the HELOC, if you're getting that just to be frivolous with it, don't do that. Don't be, if you're not a mature adult, don't do that, because you will get yourself in trouble. You will, if you're going to turn around and buy, you know, a Lexus or a Tesla with your equity, then you shouldn't play the game of lines of credit, because you will just get yourself in over your head. Even if you're doing the income in, the expenses out, if you don't have cash flow to be working this down, you are spinning your wheels and you're going to get in trouble. And in the event we have a market crash, you know, the housing market crash again, like we did in 2008, they might take a second position and cut your limit on it. And what are you going to do then? When you haven't been serious about your debt, getting that paid off, and then you turn around and lose your limits that you have set up on your HELOC or on your second position HELOC. If they get cut, then you have no access to cash, and now you have nothing but debt, and you have to figure out a way to pay that off. That could get really serious. So the point is not to just buy things with our equity. The point is to get in there, throw that income in, get your expenses out, pay that thing off, have all the equity in your home when you need it, but to use it, like I said, for acquisition of property, to find new ways of income, passive income, and to pay off debt. Okay? Let me see. Is there anything else that anybody wants to talk about before we hang it up? I think I got another question here right quick. So my best bet is to go to my bank to get a LOC or secured LOC versus a HELOC at this moment since my credit. Yes. Yes. You can do that. If you can get a line of credit, if you have a low credit score and you have any savings in the bank, they will do a secured line of credit. Do it. That builds your credit score up so fast. The credit scores raise very quickly when you're dealing with credit cards. They can also decrease very quickly when you're using credit cards. So be careful with your credit cards that you're using them properly. You're putting your income in, you're taking your expenses out, and then I'm picking up what you're putting down. All right. Yes, but if you have bad credit, go to your bank, preferably a credit union. They're beautiful to use. Ask them for a line of credit. If your score is so low and you have any money in the bank, say, can I get a secured line of credit based on what I have in here? 9 times out of the 10, they're going to say yes. They give you the credit card. You use it like this right here. That will boost your score in probably limited time. My experience has been within 3 months. 6 months for some people, depending on, you know, like how, if they got collections and stuff like that on their credit, that's never easy to work through. But try that with the secured line of credit, see if they won't give you that, and then work that system like the wealthy do. Get your credit score built up, and then turn around, ask for limit increases. If any of you guys have cards out there right now that you have had for years and you haven't asked for a limit increase and you've done good on paying them, give them a call. Go online. There's a button you can push that will, or click, that will say, you know, I want an increase in my credit line. They'll usually tell you immediately if you get that. I have done that. I didn't even know you could do that before, but I have done that, gone in, pushed the button, and they'll bring you back, you know, 1,500 more credit, 5,000 more in credit line. All that does is boost your credit scores, because it takes your utilization down. See, your limits go up, your utilization comes down, it increases your credit scores. Do we have any more questions? Thank you all for liking this video. I just love you people. You're so precious. And I I've already gotten contact forms. I've been seeing them come through. Thank you for contacting me. I'm excited to work with you guys. Oh my goodness. So my calendar wasn't live until I think Friday. So I had things reworked, and all of a sudden the phone calls stopped coming, and I thought, well, what's going on? You know, nobody's contacting me this week. Found out that the Calendly had somehow, it wasn't live, opened it back up, and the calls started coming back in. So I am getting to you guys. If you've sent me contact forms, if you've, you know, have now scheduled calls or whiteboards, I'm excited to work with you. Got several coming up tomorrow. I'm so excited to work with you guys. You all are so grateful and so gracious, and the donations that I get, I can't believe. That's what I said. You all are like, Jesus did the super thanks earlier. Thank you for that. I just appreciate you, but my main goal is to help you all find peace in your finances. However that needs to come, I will be glad to help you.